Dear me, right now you are 15 years old and things are about to start getting bad. Um, in a few months, your life will literally be turned upside down and you won't know how to deal with anything or anyone. So you do what you do best. You shut yourself away from the world. You hide away in your room. You don't come out. You don't talk much. You kind of give up. I know that sounds weird now, but in a few months' time, your mum will tell you in the middle of Tesco's, in the cheese aisle, that your dad will be leaving and that your dad will be moving out and you don't know where he's going to go. And so you reply with the thing that you think first is that you want to live with your dad and you don't want to live with your mum, you want to move in with your dad. That's the first thing that came to your head when she told you that. Then, a few months later, you have an asthma attack. The worst one you've had ever. And things happen then that changes the perspective of the family, of the remaining children in the house. And so you decide that you don't want your dad to leave. You didn't want your dad to leave anyway, but you don't want your dad to leave the house. And you don't want to have to move to another location. So you then all tell your dad that you want him to stay and that you don't want him to leave. And so in the end it's your mum that leaves. And you spend the next 3-4 years trying to get your mum to be part of your life. And especially seeing as just after she leaves, you go into your GCSE year, your final year of high school. And I will tell you this now, it's the worst year of your schooling life. I mean, to be honest, the next 4 years are the worst years of your life. I will not even hesitate to tell you that. They are bad. But to be honest, you get through it. You come out of high school with decent GCSE grades, even though no one expected you to, seeing as everything that was going on in your life, you were helping your family halves. 15-year-old me, our family halves within the space of 6 months. Mum leaves, our older brother leaves, and our older sister leaves, all within the space of about 6 months. So it's just you, your dad, and your little brother. So it's hard. You've got to focus on applying for college. And if I could go back to you now, I would apply for more than one college. Future me only applied for one college. And not even subjects that you wanted to do, to be honest. You wanted to be a journalist, but you didn't know what subjects to take in college, so you just went for anything that sounded interesting. And it didn't work, to be honest. There was a lot of switching and changing course in the next 3 years. You spent 3 years in college. And so stuff happened and it was horrible, but it brought the remaining 3 family members closer together. And that's all, looking back on it now, that's what kept me going, and that's all that I wanted. I wanted a proper family situation that felt like a family and didn't feel horrible and kind of everyone was there just to live, and no one interacted with each other, and that was horrible. And it took a while, but you started acting more like a family. You started talking to each other and interacting with each other and playing and just having fun. And it took a while, but it happened. And you got into college. You got decent GCSE grades. Yeah, you had to take maths for the next 3 years, but you eventually got a C in maths, so that's really good. And then you did something no one would think you'd be able to do. You decided you wanted to go to university, and you decided that you wanted to pursue your career and become a journalist and do what you love to do, which is right. And that was a major step for you, for us. And no one thought we could do it. No one thought we'd be able to get into university. No one thought that with everything that we'd been through, that we'd be able to do this, and that everything happened. And things happened 2 years ago this Easter. Something pretty big happened, and I'll explain it in a different video in a couple of weeks' time, but something happened to change our lives drastically. And we never thought we'd get anywhere after that. We thought we'd have to drop out of college and work in a supermarket somewhere, and we didn't want that. And so we changed. We turned our lives around. And I don't know, it was strange. It was a very, very strange time for both us and the family and people surrounding us. Finding out friends weren't actually friends, and people who you didn't think were friends turned out to be the bestest of friends. And it was odd. It was a very odd time. You didn't know who to trust. You were going through both puberty and just a weird kind of stage in your life that you didn't know how to react to certain things. And looking back on it now, you could have talked to someone, talked to your dad. I know that your future self in a few months, in a few years, you didn't want to talk to him because you didn't want to put more stress on him. And in hindsight, you were right, but you were also wrong, as you often are, as we often are. But yeah, you wanted to go to university, and guess what? You did it. You got into university, and you're studying journalism like you wanted to, and you're succeeding. You're slowly passing, and you're almost at the end of your first year. And it's crazy. It's so weird. And you're in student accommodation, you're surviving and you're living and you're having fun and you are finding lifelong friends, not these fake friends that you had in high school or even college. You're finding proper people that like the same things as you do and that get your sense of humour, and you've just developed as a young woman. And it's so strange to look back at where you are now and think your life is about to change drastically. And at the end of the day, even though now you're thinking it's for the worse and that things are changing and you don't like it and you don't know how to react to certain things that people say or people do, you are going to become stronger and you are going to change in ways that you never knew was possible and do things that you never knew were possible. And that is great, and I am so proud of you, of us, and it's all going to get better. I know it doesn't seem like it now, but it will. And that boy you liked in high school, he's a complete dick. Don't like him. Stop. Stop now. Stop while you still can. He turned out to be even though you knew while you were in high school that he was a bad person to like, you realise that 3 years later, or even a year later when you're getting your GCSE grades and he comes up to you and he's failed everything, you realise that he was a dick. So yeah, you have a fun 5 years to look forward to. By fun, I mean dreadful 5 years to look forward to. But you get through it, your family gets through it, and that's all that matters in the end. And I really hope that you carry on, and that 15-year-old me realises that everything will be alright. And now I'm 20, 5 years down the line, and I am in a place that I am so happy to be, and everything will be okay. I know that's cliche, I know that is really cliche, but everything will be okay. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters.